The aroma from her pot of jollof floated across the air, sweet and strong, like it had a life of its own. She wore a radiant smile as she lovingly dished out the jollof rice, each spoonful filled with warmth and pride. People who only came to Balogun Market to shop would suddenly find themselves standing in her queue, with plates ready to be served. But behind that sweet aroma, was there a secret? A long time ago, in a quiet village, there lived a pregnant woman named Mfonobong. She was on her way to the market when the village chief's messenger ran up the red dusty road. "Your husband, he's gone. He crashed his motorcycle, on his way to bring medicine for you." She screamed and rolled on the dusty road. And later that same night, under the flickering light of a kerosene lamp, she gave birth to a baby girl. "We shall call her Dara," Mfon whispered with tears in her eyes. "Because she is the only joy I have left." Dara never knew a father's arms. While other teenagers attended the village secondary school, Dara walked barefoot beside her mother to the village market, carrying a little basket full of dried fish. At the edge of the market, Mama Mfon set up a small cooking spot, a pot, a table, and 3 wooden benches. "This is our buka," she told Dara. "From here, we will survive." And they did. Not by plenty, but by grace. Mfonobong cooked with her whole heart. And Dara served with a smile that made even angry customers soft. She grew into a beautiful girl, dark-skinned, round-faced, and very chubby. The other girls in the village used to laugh behind her back. "See her big cheeks. She thinks she's fine because she's always serving food." Dara didn't say a word. She just smiled. One hot afternoon, the pot of jollof rice was almost ready. Customers had started coming. But Mama Mfon looked pale. She collapsed. Right there, between the firewood and the pot of stew. People shouted. They poured water. They called the village nurse. But it was too late. She was gone. Gone like the evening sun. They buried her at the cemetery beside the market she loved. That night, Dara couldn't sleep. She sat by the small, fresh grave, her face soaked with tears. Dara began fetching water for people in the village just to survive. She swept compounds and washed clothes for old women with trembling hands. The village people watched her. Some pitied her. Some said she would fade away like her mother. One rainy night, as thunder rolled and lightning flashed across the sky, Dara knelt at the grave again. She had not eaten all day. Her stomach growled. Her tears mixed with rain. "Mama, I miss your food. I miss you." Suddenly, the rain stopped. And from the trees behind her, a figure appeared. A woman wrapped in white, face covered. "Do you want to cook like your mother?" the figure asked. Dara shivered. "Do you want your food to bring people from far away?" "Yes. Keep this close," she said. "Not for magic, just as a reminder. Your hands carry your mother's fire. Don't ever forget that." One hot afternoon, Dara was coming back from the village borehole. Her wrapper was soaked with sweat and water. Her slippers slapped the red mud road as she walked home slowly. Suddenly, she heard a car horn. A black car had stopped on the small road. A young man inside rolled down the window and smiled. "Hello," he said kindly. "Please, I'm looking for Teacher Dorcas' house. Do you know her?" Dara's eyes widened. "Yes, sir. I go there sometimes to help her cook." He stepped out of the car. He was tall, neatly dressed. His perfume followed him like music. "Thank you. My name is Emeka. She's my auntie." Dara just nodded and pointed down the road. But her heart was beating so fast. Like a talking drum. "Can you show me?" he asked politely. She didn't speak. She just turned and started walking ahead of him. Teacher Dorcas lived in a small house with flowers outside. She was the headmistress of the village primary school. Everybody knew her. Everybody feared her. And everybody respected her. "Emeka, my son," she shouted and hugged him when she saw him. "You're now a big man, oh. Come in, come in." That night, Dara helped teacher Dorcas cook egusi soup for Emeka. He smiled after eating. "This soup tastes like home," he said. Dara looked down shyly. She didn't know he was talking about her cooking. Emeka stayed for only 3 days. On the third night, as rain drizzled and frogs sang outside, he sat beside his auntie. "Auntie," he said, "I need a girl who can cook good calabar soup, someone that knows the taste of home." Teacher Dorcas didn't even think twice. "Dara," she said. "That girl is respectful, clean, and can cook like her late mother." She clapped her hands. "She's the one you need." Emeka nodded. His eyes lit up. 2 days later, Dara packed her small traveling bag. She was going to Lagos. Her first time leaving the village. As the bus moved, she looked back through the window. The village trees waved goodbye. The clouds looked sleepy. When they got to Emeka's house, Dara could not believe her eyes. It was a mansion. Big gate. Tall fence. Shiny floors. TV as wide as her late mother's booker table. She gasped. "This is like a palace," she whispered. Then, a beautiful woman came downstairs. Long straight hair. Red lips. Light skin. Necklace shining like morning dew. "Welcome," the woman said sweetly. "I'm Jennifer. Emeka's wife." She hugged Dara. Her perfume smelled like roses and vanilla. Dara didn't know what to say. "You'll stay in the boys' quarters," Jennifer smiled. "You'll be like family here." Dara nodded. She wanted to cry, but she held it in. Every morning, Dara dressed neatly in her Ankara dress. She took a bus to Emeka's restaurant in Lagos Island. It was big and clean. The sales girls and boys wore uniforms. But when Dara entered the kitchen, something changed. She began to cook like her mother taught her. She made Afang soup, edikang ikong, and white soup. And people began to come. One man licked his fingers. Another man said, "This soup reminds me of my grandma." Even the other girls in the kitchen whispered behind her. "Who is this village girl? Her soup smells like magic. Maybe she's using something." Dara heard them. But she said nothing. She just smiled and stirred the pot slowly. Soon, Emeka noticed something. "Since Dara came, we have more customers. People are always asking for her soup." One day, a woman walked into the restaurant holding her baby. She sat down and ordered Afang soup. After tasting the soup, she began to cry. "Why are you crying?" a waitress asked. "This soup tastes like my mother's. She passed away 5 years ago." At home, Jennifer started watching. She watched the way Emeka smiled when he talked about Dara's food. She saw how the restaurant now closed late because of the crowd. "Who is this village girl?" she asked Emeka one night. "She's just a cook, right?" Emeka just smiled. "She's gifted, Jen. That girl cooks with her soul." Jennifer blinked. Something didn't sit right in her chest. Gifted, you say," she whispered to herself. "Or, is she using something?" The restaurant became so busy because of Dara's cooking. People rushed in early to buy her jollof rice. Others waited till evening just to taste her egusi soup. Even the rich bankers from Victoria Island came during lunch break just to eat Dara's food. Everywhere she went in the restaurant, someone would say, "That's the girl that cooks the sweet soup. See how she smiles all the time. She's not just beautiful, she's blessed." Dara was not only working hard, she had a plan. Every time she got her small salary, she would hide a little money in a yellow tin under her bed in the boys' quarters. One day, she whispered to herself, "I will go back to school and become great." She never told anyone about the tin. It was her little secret. Jennifer, Emeka's wife, loved Dara like a daughter. She would give her old clothes and hair cream. "You are a good girl," she often told Dara. "Your mother raised you well." Even the gate man, Okon, liked her. Every morning, when she passed the gate, he would smile and say, "Ah, Dara the superstar. Don't forget me when you become famous." Oh. Dara would laugh and wave. Her smile was like the morning sun, it made everyone feel warm inside. But not everyone was happy. The other sales girls in the restaurant were watching her smile while serving. That Friday morning, Dara had cooked a large pot of coconut rice. She stepped outside for a few minutes. When she returned, the rice was covered just the way she left it. Or so she thought. But one of the girls had sneaked inside and poured a whole bowl of salt into the rice. When customers began to eat, it was terrible. Why is this rice so salty? Is this a joke? My mouth is burning. Some spat the food out. Others shouted. The manager ran to the kitchen. She tasted the rice and shouted, "Who cooked this nonsense?" They called Emeka. Dara stood frozen. I cooked it, but I don't know." Emeka looked disappointed. "Dara," he said slowly, "this is not like you. Be careful next time." She nodded slowly. But her heart was beating fast. The next week, Dara cooked rice and stew. Again, she stepped out for a few minutes. One of the girls sneaked in. This time, she poured too much potash into the stew. By evening, customers began to complain of stomach pain. "My belly is turning." "Toilet. Where's your toilet? What did you people put in that food?" One man came back red in the face. "I missed my meeting because of your food." Emeka was furious. So was Jennifer. That night at home, Emeka shouted, "Dara, if this happens again, you're gone." Dara ran into her room and cried all night. She didn't eat. She didn't sleep. The girls didn't stop. They started whispering into Emeka's ears. "Sir, we think Dara wants to destroy your restaurant. Maybe she wants to open her own place and take your customers. She's always keeping to herself, very suspicious." Dara didn't know what they were saying, but she could feel it. She felt it in the way Emeka looked at her. In the way Jennifer no longer smiled as much. Even Okon no longer joked with her. She started walking with her head down. Her smiles stopped. Her eyes stayed red. Then one day, it happened. Someone stole a huge amount of money from the restaurant's office. The whole place went into panic. Everyone was searched. Then one of the girls shouted, "Check Dara. She's been acting strange since morning." Another added, "She has been hiding money in her bag." The manager rushed to her bag. They found a bundle of money. But she didn't put the money there. They all conspired and put the money in her bag when she was cooking. Emeka was so angry. His face turned dark. "You stole from me? After everything I did for you?" Dara dropped to her knees, crying, "Sir, I swear on my mother's grave I didn't take that money." But Emeka shouted, "Get out of my restaurant, pack your things, I don't want to ever see you again." Dara went home and packed her things from Emeka's house. Jennifer stood in the corner, looking sad, but did nothing. She walked out of the big gate for the last time, barefoot. It rained that evening. But she didn't stop walking. Her tears mixed with the rain. She found a tiny room, a face me I face you, in a crowded area of Lagos. The roof leaked. The wall was cracked. But it was all she could afford. 1 week later she woke up early. She used her small savings to cook a big pot of soup and jollof rice. She packed them into warm flasks and began to hawk food in Balogun Market. "Hot rice oh. Buy your Afang soup here." When they tasted her food, "Ah, this is delicious. Where have you been hiding? You will go far, my dear." Little by little, Dara made more money. She bought more flasks. Soon, people started waiting for her to come. Her customers called her Dara the Calabar girl. Other women who sold food became jealous. They whispered, just like in the restaurant, "Is she using juju? Or is her hand just sweet like sugar?" Dara just smiled. But her eyes held a quiet fire. 2 years had passed. Dara no longer hawked food in the hot sun. She now had her own space, a small buka in a big yard in Balogun Market, where many other food sellers stayed. She gave her buka a sweet name, the Calabar Buka. Every morning, she came in early and cleaned her space. And when customers came in, she welcomed them with a smile that could melt a stone. "Good morning, sir." "You're welcome, auntie. Try our Afang soup today." Oh. Soon, a long line formed in front of her shop. People waited just to eat her food. Some said, "Her soup tastes like home. I dreamt of her jollof rice yesterday. That girl, her hand is blessed." But not everyone was happy. The other women in the food yard were losing customers. Even Maman Kechi, who had sold rice for 10 years, had no queue anymore. One morning, she leaned close to Mama Nina and whispered, "She must be using juju to trap her customers. She's from Calabar, and you know those people are diabolic." They both nodded slowly. Then strange things started happening. One morning, Dara came to her buka and found a calabash placed at her door. It had red cloth, feathers, and black powder inside. Some women came close, pretending to care. "Iya, Dara, hope you're safe." "Oh," one of them said with fake concern. The next day, she was going to grind beans for moi moi. Suddenly, a woman near her shop poured dirty water on the ground where she was about to pass. The smell was horrible. But Dara held her head high. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just wiped her slippers and kept walking. When she got to her buka, she smiled as usual and served her customers. Even with all the stress, Dara didn't stop dreaming. At night, after she closed her buka, she would rush to a small satellite campus not far from Yaba. She was now studying hospitality and catering. She wanted to be more than a cook. She wanted to run big restaurants one day. One sunny afternoon, as she was serving jollof rice to a customer, a tall man walked in. His name was Mr. Akpan. He owned one of the biggest kitchen shops in Balogun Market. People had told him, "You haven't eaten until you've tasted food from the Calabar buka." So he came. And when he saw Dara, with her bright eyes and gentle voice, something clicked in his heart. It was love at first sight. Mr. Akpan came every day after that. Sometimes he ate twice a day, even if he wasn't hungry. He would help her carry her pot, or wash the spoons when she was tired. On Saturdays, they took walks near Third Mainland Bridge. On Sundays, they shared a plate of jollof rice and laughed like children. People began to notice. Dara has found love. Oh, this one is not from the village, this one is a rich man. Then, one sweet evening, as they sat outside the buka after closing, he knelt down with a small ring in his hand. "Dara, will you marry me?" She covered her mouth in shock, then nodded with tears in her eyes. Yes, I will." They got married at a small registry in Lagos. Jennifer, Emeka's wife from years ago, even sent a gift and a note that said, "You always deserved the best. I'm sorry we judged you wrongly." Back in Balogun, people still whispered about Dara. How did she make it? What magic is she using? But they didn't know. They didn't know that Dara cooked to survive. They didn't know that her late mother taught her every recipe by firelight. They didn't know she cried many nights alone. They didn't know she studied with candles after work. They didn't know how hard she worked. And she whispered to herself, "Truly, I survived everything life threw at me." She smiled a real smile. Today, she had her husband. She had her customers. She had peace. And soon, they opened a big restaurant together in the heart of Lagos. The sign above it said, "Dara's Kitchen, where every spoon tells a story." And this was her story. They thought it was juju, but all she had was a wooden spoon, her mother's secret recipe, and the fire of survival. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who still believes in humble beginnings. Subscribe to African Tales by Cecylia for more captivating stories and timeless African folk tales.